Willie D Live.
What's up, family? A new documentary about Different Strokes child star Gary Coleman has opened some old wounds. Family, according to Gary's friends, he not only just died, but he was murdered. Murdered by his own ex-wife. How does something like that happen? Well, the backstory is Gary and his wife, or his former wife, Shannon Price, were at his house and she heard a thump sound while she was upstairs in the bedroom, I believe. And when she came down the stairs, Gary was laying at the bottom of the stairs with a pool of blood under his head. She called 911. They came, took him to the hospital. He was on life support for a few days, and then she pulled the plug. His family, his friends could not understand why she didn't give him a chance to live. She pulled the plug almost immediately. I mean, I think they said she pulled the plug within 2 days or something. She just pulled the plug. Didn't give him a fighting chance. Every single person in Gary's life who seemed to really care about him all said they did not trust Shannon. About their relationship, they met on the scene of one of Gary's movies. She was an extra. She said Gary took a liking to her. By some reports, she was 22, but she said she was 19 when she met him. Gary was 39. According to his friends, the age difference wasn't even the biggest issue they had with Shannon. They just said that she was off. They didn't think that she loved Gary for Gary. They thought that she was strictly after his money. Now, they met in early 2007, according to reports. By 2008, they were divorced. They went on divorce court in a very highly publicized divorce court battle in May of 2008. And they was divorced by August 2008. Neighbors reported that they used to duke it out all the time. It was always squabbling going on between the two. One friend described their relationship as tumultuous. You know, I did not realize that Gary Coleman was so ill his entire life. He had a kidney transplant when he was 5, and I think they said he had another one when he was 12 or something along those lines. I may have the sequence mixed up a little bit, but he had health issues for a long, long time. So a lot of times when he was on the set of Different Strokes, he was sick. Imagine that, fam. You making the world laugh while you're in pain. Comedians do that every day. Comedians do that every day. And I know it must suck sometimes being a comedian because people tend to always take you for a joke. And a good comedian is always looking for the joke, but they don't want the joke to be on them. I mean, these are human beings. They do have feelings, they have emotions, they have family, right? And so, same thing that might get under your skin might get under their skin, comedian or not. On Gary Coleman's medical directive, he allegedly instructed them to pull the plug if 2 or more doctors believed that he had no chance of survival should he become incapacitated. Now, here comes the cold part, fam. You're really not going to appreciate this. Gary Coleman's ex-wife took a selfie of her and him while he was in the hospital fighting for his life in a coma. He was brain dead, so I guess it was over, but the fact that she took that picture and sold it, allegedly, to magazines because it did get out. She said she took the picture because she wanted people to see what Gary had gone through, what he was going through. That's why she took the picture. She pulled the plug on the man just 2 days after he went under. When the wife was being interviewed in the documentary, she was very cavalier in describing their relationship and how she felt about him after he died. Every other person that was close to him in the documentary, like really, really close to him, cried. I saw no such thing from Shannon. Shannon also said that people in relationships slap each other. She said, I'd slapped him a couple of times and, we hit, hitting, I think I'm paraphrasing. She was like, that's not, we did that, but that's not like a red flag or anything. There was no red flags in a relationship. She said, that's normal. Hitting in relationships is not normal. It's abnormal. It's toxic. She said there was no red flags. The fact that she said there was no red flags is a red flag. And it really made me suspicious of her. You watch the documentary, if you get a chance, watch it. Cold-blooded, man. I'm with the family. I'm with the family and friends on this, fam. I'm with the family and friends. She did not look like a grieving ex-wife. She was at the house with him. This is after they got divorced, so, she come back. I guess they got cool again or whatever, and she's at the house, and somehow Gary ends up on the floor, lying with his head lying on a pool of blood. She comes down, she hears a thumping sound. She goes down the stairs. She finds him and she calls 911. 911 asks her about CPR or whatever. And she's like, I'm freaking out. I'm not touching that. Like she's not going to touch the blood. And then she said she was pretty much trying to preserve the crime scene. Who amongst us, family, would see one of our loved ones lying on the floor in a pool of blood, and the first thing that comes to our mind is, I'm scared to get blood on me. I'm scared of the blood. First thing you're doing is trying to make sure you're not even cognizant of stepping on what you're stepping on, whatever. You just trying to get to your loved one, right? I didn't know that Gary Coleman was so tormented. I didn't know that he was going through all of that depression. And, I'm not supposed to know, I get it, but it had never been revealed to me. But once I started doing the research, I did see that Gary Coleman hated Hollywood. He wanted to get out. He hated the role of Arnold. He hated that, what do you call it, that line, that thing, saying that thing, that what you're talking about, Willis, he hated that. What you're talking about, period. Anytime, somebody say something that he deems to be absurd or, he'll say, what you talking about? They say he hated that line. But that's all people really wanted from him. They refused to see him in any other way. And he struggled with that. They say his parents ran through his bread. He made like 18 million. He was on the show for 8 years, from 10 to 18 years old. And when he left the show, he was broke. He found out his parents ran through all the money. His parents and everybody was getting paid. Everybody was getting paid. They showed a pie of his earnings, and almost half of his earnings were gone before taxes from paying manager, agent, who else was it? Lawyer, and something else. It was like 3 or 4 different charges, 3 or 4 different fees that he would have to pay out of any earnings. And that was before taxes. How could he ever get to the bag, the real bag? So he was depressed, and he talked about killing himself on more than one occasion. Gary Coleman, the little guy who made everybody laugh, was absolutely miserable. I've been playing this entertainment game for a minute, and let me tell you something. If you plan on playing it, you better understand this. The entertainment industry is not designed to protect you. It is designed to use you up. There will be snakes coming from every direction. Family, friends, people who pretend to be friends, agents, managers, stylists, drug dealers, killers, everybody is going to want a piece of you. So you better know who you are, and you better be grounded. These games that people play in the entertainment industry can have you looking into the mirror and not even being able to recognize who you are. Now, here's the absolute coldest part about the entertainment industry. And this extends beyond the entertainment industry also. If you really want to know who's for you, in most cases, you're going to have to lose everything. Let that sink in. No more talk.